everyone. Super excited to be with you today to talk about creating the experience your candidates want, but didn't know they could have. I am here with the amazing Quin Adler, who between the two of us, we're going to share with you some tips and tricks and things that we've learned through our experience here at Eightfold. Hello, Quin.
Hey, Rebecca, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic, thank you. So we're going to be walking through today a couple of reasons why we are really up-leveling the candidate experience, and it comes from a wide variety of places, but we're going to start from a diversity-first perspective. And if you look at the screen here, you can see an anonymized example of the pitfalls of the standard candidate, right? And this is not the norm by any means. This individual realized that they were not 100% fit for that job, right? But they decided to be brave, not perfect, even though they had imposter syndrome, and decided to apply for this role, even though they know they had about 3/5 of the qualifications. They got that job interview, nailed it, and eventually got that offer letter. But for every one person like this, there are hundreds, if not thousands of people out there who either apply for the wrong jobs or self-assess that they can't do the job because of the lengthy job description. Rebecca, have you experienced this in your previous lives at all?
Yeah, for sure. And I think some of the challenge is that maybe we don't know what job we want to do, or maybe we're looking to make a change. For instance, if you think about someone who is looking for a job in HR, and there's a lot of different facets. And so if I go out to a career website and I search HR, I might get a whole bunch of different things, right? It could be human resources, recruiting, talent acquisition, business partner, generalist. So the way that we do our career site is we don't have to guess, right? We don't have to say, am I qualified? Do I belong? Is this for me? We can say, hey, I'm looking for a job, and we can upload our resume on the career site, and it's going to tell us what positions we may be a fit for. Where should we look for opportunities? So being able to have a candidate experience that actually is focused on the candidate as opposed to focused on what happens behind the scenes is pretty amazing. And as a candidate, that is so much more empowering to say somebody's paying attention to what I actually could be a fit for, not just what a keyword on a resume looks like.
Absolutely. We are bringing the level of hyper-personalization that the B2C world knows. The Googles, the Facebooks, the YouTubes, they know me so well. We are bringing that same level of understanding to the B2B world when it comes to a candidate determining the jobs they're a strong fit for and why. And so without further ado, let's jump into the Eightfold powered personalized career experience to then see what that looks like. And so here I'm playing the role of a candidate, and we're looking at the career site for Acme Technologies, and you can see there's almost 600 jobs open on this demo site. And it's not a good user experience for me as a candidate to read through all the job descriptions, self-assess, I can do that, I can't do that. It's a bad process all around. How does this differ from a software engineer 2 to a software engineer 3? Different companies call the exact same title different things, and there's so much ambiguity there. And so what we can offer is a couple of different ways to shortcut the hyper-personalization process. We can go through a conversational experience with the chatbot and have a conversation to determine benefits, talk about diversity, finding a position for myself, which is great. Eventually, it's picking up my IP address as well for my personal location. I get prompted here to upload my resume. And that's that magic piece, that secret sauce that is going to match the candidates to all the jobs they're a strong fit for. So even if I do so on the chatbot here, or if I just say find jobs, I can drag and drop my resume here onto the screen. And when I agree to the privacy policy here, which we can talk about GDPR all day long, we'll save that for another time, I submit, and Eightfold takes care of the rest. And there are over 600 open jobs in this example. In a number of seconds, I'm using the role of one of our Eightfold employees here, Shruti. She's a good friend of mine. We found that there's about 25 open jobs that she's a strong fit for. And as I scroll down the screen a little bit, I can see that some are strong matches, some are good matches. And on the right-hand side here, this is that explainable AI, that magic piece that tells Shruti why she's a strong fit for this given role. Right? This is where we take the self-assessment out of it and tell a candidate, here is why you are a strong fit for this position.
Well, and Quinn, when you think about it, when we have created resumes are a great tool, but it's just the way to get our foot in the door. And with all of the conflicting advice out there right now, should you have a 1-page resume, a 2-page resume? How much experience do you put on there? What kind of things are really important? I put what I think is important, but maybe what a hiring manager wants is something completely different. And so being able to use the AI to pull out what skills I can showcase on my resume, but maybe there's a whole bunch of stuff that I took off, stuff that I did before, maybe projects that I didn't think were valuable, but is something that that client, that hiring manager really wants. So being able to take away that stress of saying, if I don't put in the right keywords, I'm not going to find the right job on that site. It's so amazing for that candidate to be able to say, oh my gosh, I never would have thought about applying for this particular job or doing that particular thing. It's a much better candidate experience to feel like somebody knows me, as you talked about before, right? Google knows me and Amazon knows me. Now we have the opportunity of letting the employer get to know you without you having to line it all out and write it all out specifically.
Absolutely. And we're going far beyond the keywords that are on the resume, right? I'll use myself as an example. My title is solutions engineer, but coding is not my personal expertise. It's just, spoiler alert, I don't code. But because I've got engineer in my title for so many of the other vendors in the space, I am then getting prompted to look at all these different coding gigs that I know I'm not a strong fit for. And so we're going far beyond simple matching of keywords in a resume to matching of keywords in a job description. It's not necessary for Shruti to have all of these skills listed on her resume. We can infer the skills that somebody has based on the job titles they hold in the companies that they work at. And that is really key in normalizing the playing field from a diversity perspective to allow the right person to find the right jobs, no matter the buzzwords in the resume itself.
Well, and let's flip that just really quick for a recruiter standpoint. It's a lot easier for a recruiter to sell somebody who has a resume that looks a little different if there is that AI, that explainable AI, as you talked about right there. We can say, hey, this is why this candidate surfaced for this particular job. So not only is it a better candidate experience on the front end to get in the door, but it also is easier for that recruiter and hiring manager to see what that match could look like and hire somebody who maybe doesn't have what they would consider to be the perfect resume, but may have the perfect set of skills. So much easier on both ends from the candidate experience as well as that recruiter and hiring managers in addition.
Absolutely. And the numbers really are speaking to it as well. I mean, the average career site globally has around a 9% application rate. 9 people who visit the site out of 100 end up applying for at least one job. Eightfold customers are seeing north of 40, sometimes 50% application rates because the match is so high quality, and we're telling the candidates why they're a strong fit as well. Additionally, assuming somebody does upload their resume, 87% of those people apply for at least one job. And that really speaks to the quality of these matches, which goes far beyond simple keyword matching as well.
All right, Quinn, so we've got to ask the question. Not all of those people that apply to jobs actually get the job. So now you have a lot of folks in an applicant tracking database that aren't actually working for the company. So what good is applying for a job if not everybody gets a job?
That's a great question. And Rebecca, we're going to now transition over from the candidate's experience over to the recruiter's experience to then walk through that exact same issue. So Eightfold's personal philosophy is you are sitting on a gold mine of candidates in your ATS, but there's not an easy way to mine those candidates, right? These people, either they applied for the wrong role, or they were a 97 for a job and somebody barely beat them out with a 99, or maybe they're an alumnus. Any number of reasons why somebody is in your ATS but they don't work for your company today. Maybe they were too junior for the role they applied for. So what Eightfold does in this talent pool tab you see right here is we're finding every individual you have ever talked to. We're updating those profiles with data from public sources like LinkedIn and other places so then it looks like people have applied to your company very recently. And then we dynamically match all of these individuals to every position that's open now and in the future. So if somebody was a 2-star match for a job that they applied for and they're in the abyss of the ATS, which happens all the time, Eightfold can find if somebody is a 4 or a 5-star match for a completely different job and surface them up for the recruiter so that the recruiter can then easily contact that person and invite them to apply for the job that they are a strong fit for.
So wait, what you're saying is that I could have applied for a job 4 years ago for whatever reason. Maybe I withdrew from the process. Maybe I was just a hair under the qualifications. What you're saying is that I could actually be considered for a role 4 years from now because the system will update my profile and serve that up then to the recruiter to look at me again?
Yes, absolutely. Thousands of people apply for the wrong job every day. And we understand that. It's no one's fault there. It's human nature. And so by being able to understand the jobs that somebody actually is a strong fit for, it's going to maximize the quality of hire. It's going to maximize the likelihood that you hire that top talent. And because we're looking at quality and not looking at simple buzzwords in a resume, diversity naturally goes up from a gender perspective, from an ethnicity perspective, from a veteran status and disability perspective as well. All these things are taken into consideration with our equal opportunity algorithms to find the right person for the right job at the right time.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. And I think that makes a lot of candidates feel better about their application process too, because they don't feel like they've gotten lost. So say that you've got all of these candidates, you want to reach out to them, they're in your applicant tracking system. So how do you do that? I mean, it's an awful lot of work for a recruiter to try to reach out one-to-one to every single candidate that pops up or every single lead that pops up that could be interesting. So how do you get a hold of all of these people that you may want to reconnect with?
Absolutely. Outreach is very important. And Eightfold has a full CRM built into our solution as well. Really quickly showing, if I want to see why someone's such a strong fit for a role, we saw the explainable AI on the candidate side of things. We're seeing that exact same idea on the recruiting side. We're avoiding what is oftentimes called the black box effect in artificial intelligence when the end user does not know how the AI came to the conclusion that it is. And we're showing why this individual is a 5-star match. And if I want to reach out to these people, really easy to contact one or multiple through either email or SMS texting. Really easy to then articulate with whatever email template I want, my open, my reply rates, my automated sequences as well, reaching out to these people in bulk and inviting them to apply. And then what's nuanced here, what's subtle, is this view job description button on the bottom. That's taking the candidate to the exact same experience that you just saw. On the career site, here on the right-hand column, here's why you're a strong fit for a role, and here's why we believe you should apply in only a few clicks.
So thinking about that, using that function of sending out a campaign, you could do a whole bunch of different ways to keep your candidates engaged then, right? I mean, you could do it specifically for a job. I'm assuming that, candidates would be interested in hearing about what's happening at your company, even if there wasn't a call to action. There's a lot of different ways then to use the technology to keep the candidate in the loop and connected to that particular company, right?
Absolutely. We do want to nurture that talent community, right? We want to make sure that we're not only reaching out to these individuals when you want something from them, when there's a job opening. And because we're really harvesting the talent network as that main source of talent, we have over a dozen different campaign objectives that come out of the box to reach out to and nurture your talent community for any reason, whether it's alumni joining the talent community, diversity, STEM research, employee engagement, a specific event for event recruiting sake as well. And one piece that Eightfold does extremely well is what I like to call automated audiences, where we determine the content. Based on that content, we determine who in the talent network wants to read about it. So we can automatically parse through a blog post, a news article, and then say, of my X number of people in the talent community, these number actually want to read about it for whatever reason on their profile. And that's a large reason why our customers are oftentimes seeing more than 50% open rates and response rates on these nurture campaigns.
So I have to say, being in the talent acquisition space for a long time, both as a leader of talent teams, being a recruiter, and also being on the candidate side, it's pretty amazing to think about what that candidate experience has come to through some of the things that we've just talked about from where it used to be, right? From where it used to be that we would have to look at emailed resumes, or even worse, snail mailed resumes, right? Looking at what we thought applicant tracking systems were like, this terrible place that just, as you called it, right? The black hole, the black box, things just go in and never come out, because it did feel for a long time like applicant tracking systems and different software was really set up to benefit on the employer side and not so much the candidate side. So super exciting to think about what's happening from a candidate experience where it doesn't feel lopsided. This feels like a give and take. I can put my information in, the employer can learn about me, I can share information if I want to, but then the system also automatically figures it out. I mean, this just feels like a win-win for both the employer and for a candidate, not feeling like it was this strange, mysterious process that we don't understand. So serving up those candidate insights to understand what's really happening behind the magic curtain, right? Looking at what kind of communication can continue to happen coming out of the employer space. I don't know. I just feel like this is a game changer to be able to think about changing what the candidate feels like when they go to apply for a job. Hopefully it takes some of that stress out of that a crazy time of looking for a new role.
And our customers are seeing great results across the board. They're seeing obviously higher open and response rates. The quality of the hire is going up. More recruiters can handle more requisitions at a time because those manual tasks have been automated. We're seeing lower numbers of interviews required for hire because that match score is so indicative of how high quality the candidates are, among other things as well. We talked about diversity all throughout. And so talk to our customers. They're getting great results from our solution, and you can as well.
So I think that brings us to the end of what we wanted to share. Quin, you and I think could talk all day long about the candidate experience as well as what Eightfold brings to the table. So we invite you to visit Eightfold AI if you want to learn more. And this is Quin and I signing off, saying thanks for joining us and have a fantastic day.